Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. I figured she's been doing videos by herself, right? I can do a video by myself. No, actually, just our schedules are not meshing very well. Weekends were very busy. We're going to talk about Palworld. We're going to talk about Pokemon stands kind of losing it on social media. They're very angry, very salty about Palworld. Palworld is phenomenally successful. Something like 4 million copies. I think it was 4 million copies sold within a couple of days. And I heard they're selling like 86,000 copies an hour. Palworld, for those of you who don't know, is the biggest game right now. I mean, it's huge. It's a massive success. The game is in early access. It launched on Friday and it has had 4 million downloads in about 3 days. Absolutely staggering numbers. It's actually, I think, has the most concurrent streamers ever on Steam. It's actually beaten Cyberpunk 2077. So this is just a massive runaway hit. And of course, some Pokemon stands. See, I try saying that 5 times fast. Pokemon stands, cartoon stands. They're losing it. They're losing it on Twitter. They're very angry. They want to see this game destroyed. They want to see it taken down. We've already got game journos out there talking about how cruel the game is. For those of you who don't know, who haven't played it, go out to Clownfish Gaming. Go out to our gaming channel. Did you know we had a gaming channel? Yeah, we're trying to ramp that up again this year. That's kind of how we started. Before we started getting into commentary, we started doing gameplay. But go out to the Clownfish Gaming channel, and you can see we did some gameplay the other day of Palworld, Squid King and I, playing it for the first time, giving our reactions, and I've been covering some news on it over there. And normally this would be a Clownfish Gaming news video, but you know, we're going to talk about some Twitter drama, and I usually don't talk about that too much in the news videos over there. I try to keep it newsy, and I try to keep it under 10 minutes. You know, you can check those episodes out as well on the Clownfish Gaming channel, or you can go out to Spotify and get the audio versions of those under 10-minute news bites that I do. But let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. Guys, no woohoos. No woohoos today, and definitely no woohoos from Pokemon fans, or some Pokemon fans. They're very angry. A lot of them seem to think that Pokemon is such a unique concept, you know, taming and capturing and fighting monsters, that nobody else should be allowed to do it. Digimon shouldn't exist, and Monster Rancher and Monster Hunter, none of those games should exist, right? Just Pokemon. Now, to be fair though, Palworld does look a lot more like Pokemon than some of those other games. I mean, it looks a lot like it. We're going to talk about this because there are accusations now, of course, that they used AI to generate the pals. They're not Pokemon, they're pals. And they're basically going out of their way to disparage this game in any way they can because they are fans of the Pokemon franchise. And sad news, I guess, before we get into talking about Palworld, Nintendo of America puts this out over the weekend. Did you catch that? Explore some hidden details within Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. That game was those games. Not resonating very well with Pokemon fans, as I understand it. And Palworld is, for a lot of people, scratching the itch that they thought they would have scratched, I guess, with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And you know, plus you get more guns and stuff. But yeah, a lot of people calling Nintendo out. But it's kind of sad. Like, as Palworld, an indie developed title, smashes records. I mean, just completely dominates. Nintendo has to remind you that Pokemon still exists. And we'll talk about some of these here in a little bit. I just think that was kind of funny and kind of sad, you know. But let's talk about some of the backlash. Now, believe it or not, the Mary Sue actually agrees with us. The Mary Sue thinks it's ridiculous to get this bent out of shape over this Pokemon game. And again, we have people calling for lawsuits, and I'm not sure where I am in that regard. As I understand it, I don't think there's anything Nintendo can do. But trust me, if Nintendo thought they could somehow take out Palworld, they probably would do it because it definitely is making them look pretty bad. I think a lot of people thought this thing would come and go. It would be a kind of a knockoff, a novelty, like, what if Pokemon had guns? Wouldn't that be funny? And it turns out the game's a lot more involved than that. It actually is more of a survival game, crafting game that just happens to have Pokemon. Think Ark Survival Evolved, but instead of dinosaurs, you've got pals or Pokemon type creatures. So yeah, the Mary Sue is like, is it ethical for Palworld to satirize Pokemon? Controversy, discourse, outrage, whatever you want to call it, began after one Twitter user demanded others avoid supporting the video game Palworld because it supposedly features Pokemon ripoffs. Per the tweet, Palworld seems to feature a wide assortment of pals with very similar designs to pre-existing Pokemon. That actually is true. They are shockingly close. In fact, if you showed me a screenshot of Palworld and told me it was the new Pokemon game, I would have believed you. I mean, that's how close they look to Pokemon. They're very Pokemon adjacent. Reminder not to support Palworld. Let's see here. Let's see. They took it down. They blocked people. Someone should bust Pokemon for doing the same thing then. Yeah, Dragon Quest. Actually, Pokemon, yeah. A lot of the monsters look like Dragon Quest monsters. They're just kind of cute Japanese anime style monsters. So yeah, after they got called out by the freaking Mary Sue, that's pretty bad. Now's a good time to remind everyone that Palworld is a Pokemon satire game, an open world. No, you didn't play the game, did you? It's basically, Palworld is what older Pokemon players wanted from the franchise that Nintendo didn't give them, that Game Freak didn't give them. And they kind of beat them at their own game. But, I mean, what are you going to do, right? They said, yeah, you collect pals and you have a pal dex, adorable pocket monster-like creatures who love you unconditionally and will work to death on your behalf. They grow crops, build your base, shoot machine guns, and sacrifice their own lives for your survival. You can even cook them for food if you're hungry. And apparently one of the pals is down bad for humans. Really? There's one that's thirsty for humans? I didn't get to this one yet. Wow. So this one will do you too. Wow. That's crazy. I haven't gotten to that one yet. Good news, Pokemon fans. We finally found of episode 620, or was it episode 621? Is that the one where they get married? See, I'm not up on my Pokemon anime. Is that the one where they get married? We finally found the perfect game for you. Palworld is clearly a super duper too edgy for you parody of Pokemon. No, it's actually a pretty well thought out survival game that just happens to have Pokemon adjacent critters in it. And it's a pretty deep game. I actually expected it to be a meme game, and then we played it and I'm like, oh my God, this is like a real game. And it's only in early access, but it's actually like a real game. Getting mad at the game for its parody designs is like getting mad at Rick and Morty for ripping off Back to the Future. My bad guys, I didn't realize Rick Sanchez was Doc Brown. That's so problematic. Why are you going to bat for a corporation's intellectual property rights? One Twitter user aptly tweeted. Stealing from the most profitable media franchise of all time is fine. Actually, that is true. Pokemon is I guess it is the most profitable media franchise of all time. I don't think there's any threat of Palworld, completely dethroning Pokemon. I really don't. Here we go. Reminder not to support Weird Al Yankovic. He's not even subtle about his ripoffs. How much else has he stolen? That's true. Some critics have pointed out that Palworld's monsters are a bit too on the nose. That is also true. Almost as if creator Pocketpair essentially created Pokemon OCs, then slotted them into the game. I think this just heightens the Pokemon parody immersion. I don't think it's actually a parody. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was. I don't think it is. I think it's actually, this is the Pokemon game that people have wanted for years and they never got. Just open world, survival, Pokemon with guns, just anything goes. And Nintendo and Game Freak won't give it to you, so Pocketpair is giving it to you. Switch Up on Twitter has this tweet. So Pokemon fans are upset that Palworld has copied the monster designs and you shouldn't support it. It sold 2 million in one day. How about the opposite? It's fantastic news for Pokemon fans. Game Freak released Scarlet and Violet in an abysmal state, didn't fix it, and then mugged you off with glitchy DLC. They're laughing at the fan base who are now defending them. How about let them panic and work harder on the next release? Keep those Palworld sales rolling in. If you ask me what you think, I actually think that's great. And that's I was talking to Squid King about this, and I was talking to my wife about this. I said, hey, this is good news for Nintendo because they've got some legit competition now. They like all these YouTubers, all these streamers, they're all playing Palworld, and we know how that works on social media. Kids buy the games, play the games that they see their favorite YouTubers play, their favorite Twitch streamers play, right? That's what they buy. So this is, social media is what makes a game like Among Us blow up or Lethal Company blow up. And both of those games, by the way, you can see on the Clownfish gaming channel. We've played those. But again, these are games that normally wouldn't get any oxygen, but because of all the buzz with streamers and gaming streamers, they play it, they talk about it, and they're all playing Palworld, So it's like, it is bad news for Nintendo, but they're going to have to, the next Pokemon game that comes out, the next proper installment, they're really going to have to up their game. They might not, want to give Pikachu a machine gun, but they're going to definitely have to up their game because the expectations are so much higher now. So it is good news for Pokemon fans. Like, yeah, you're going to have to beat Palworld. Somehow, you're going to have to beat it. Like, Pokemon's got to be the best monster tamer game out there, right? So you're going to have to beat it. Switch Up went on to say, a wise man once said, guess what happens when you're offended? You're offended. My personal Pokemon fix comes from great indies like Monster Sanctuary and Cassette Beast. Cassette Beast I want to play. That's been on my to-play list for a while. I've wanted to play Cassette Beast. Looks pretty good. Support those guys. So here's this guy. Hey, I wanted to come in with the kindest discussion, but the reason why a lot of people are genuinely upset is because there's evidence that the creators have copied other designs and or utilized AI to make their designs. The director is a huge AI NFT fan as well. Oh my God. How dare he? This is like the next battle, right? Now we're going to have like a, GMO sticker or label or something on a game release. Oh, this game didn't use any AI. This comic book didn't use any AI. The thing is, it's here. It's even built into Photoshop now. Like within 2 years, AI just it's all over the place. They're using it for literally everything. Your bank is probably using AI now for something to automate tasks. Switch Up goes on to say, I'm not really making a statement on those clear issues, although I would like to see this evidence. Please link to that. This is about Game Freak rinsing the fans. I don't disagree that copying is bad. So here's the supposed evidence. This is one of the tweets. In Vertex, heads up to anyone thinking about supporting or playing Palworld who also cares about AI issues. The CEO of that studio is full speed ahead on generative AI, frequently promotes it, and tries to push its use in his studio. Even made a game focused entirely around it using SD. All right, so this is Craftopia Palworld designer, studio head. Is it Takuro Mizobi? So he's going on about AI. He's basically talking about people who use Photoshop or Krita are not called digital artists, right? AI illustrator is a hot topic. Yeah, when you call someone an illustrator, it seems like it's normal to refer to an AI illustrator. After AI becomes widespread, a new word will probably be born: analog illustrator, painter, human painter. That is true. You can't stop the technology. So there's a whole bunch of tweets here. Is that what their evidence is? He likes AI. He's a game developer, of course. Of course. I guarantee you the next Pokemon game on some level will probably use AI, generative AI, even if it's to help with the dialogue, even if it's to help randomize NPCs, even if it's just Photoshop. They're graphic designers just doing 2D elements using Photoshop. Photoshop, guess what? Has AI built into it now. You can't get away from it. So this is the tweet that's going around now that I guess people are taking issue with. This is back in 2021. He said, AI has evolved so much, I can no longer tell which one is a real Pokemon and which one is AI generated. So on the left are the Pokemon-like monsters generated by AI, and on the right are the real Pokemon. BuzzFeed engineer Mini Maxier seems that he automatically generated it using a method called DALL-E. Okay, so this was a couple of years ago. This is when it was new. Technology was new. So basically, because he said he likes AI and he likes the randomization that he's using it to generate the pals, right? Do they have to disclose that in the video game? This person said, yeah, there's absolutely no chance the designs aren't the result of putting existing Pokemon through an AI generator. And they're putting Pokemon next to the pals, and you can kind of see some definite similarities. I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. The first time I saw the trailer, I was like, if you told me this was the new Pokemon game, I totally would have believed you. I mean, even the one pal they have that looks like a Totoro meets Pikachu. You know, it's literally what it is. So the person, a Lion Game Dev with 49 followers. I bet my ass they fed the AI an image of a Pokemon and asked it to alter it in subtle ways. Boom, now they've got their own Pokemon. Disgusting. Isn't the whole point that they look like Pokemon? Somebody replied. Yeah, pretty much. This person here, let's see, video maker for creators, brands, and myself, I guess. Last week, Foam Stars used Midjourney for a few unimportant images, and gamers are mad. This week, an unapologetic plagiarist likely fed Pokemon into an AI to generate the core designs of Palworld, and gamers are surprisingly cool with it because they want to play this one. Well, the game's pretty good. I mean, I'll tell you the truth. When we played it, after we played it, my first impression was, this does feel like something an AI would come up with. It's basically like you put into the AI the parameters. Hey, Chat GPT, let's make the most popular video game ever. What will we have to do to make this game incredibly popular? And we actually did this in a video with Star Wars. Like, what would make the sequel trilogy more popular? And I guarantee you Hollywood is doing it right now. They're like, what do we got to do to make money at the box office? So they could have fed the parameters in, and they got a game that it's a mashup of Pokemon and Ark Survival Evolved and Minecraft and Fortnite and Breath of the Wild. And all of those games are hugely popular, and you throw them into a blender and you sell it for under $30 and it blows up, and they sell 4 million copies over the weekend. Do you think other game studios are going to look at that and be like, hell yeah, if they used AI, let's all do that too? They're absolutely going to. Who cares how it was created? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's they're going to look at the money and they're going to be like, holy shit. You know, 4 million copies of the game in a weekend. And it's dethroned Cyberpunk 2077. They're going to be like, who the hell cares how we came up with the Pokemon adjacent monsters? And everybody's going to start doing it. Yeah. So they're talking about how Matthew here is saying, I'm not commenting on the ethics of using generative AI. I'm commenting on the gamers. And someone says, Jacob Geller here says, equivocating internet anger and sales is a pointless exercise. The Harry Potter game was the best-selling game last year. Yeah, it was. 100%. I've seen people in my circles excited for and praising Palworld who've been negative toward generative AI in the past. So while the discourse is certainly not representative of greater public opinion, it will be interesting to see how it shakes out. I think a lot of it is just, rage from Pokemon fans. Irrational. Like, they think that Nintendo has the monster taming genre locked down. I feel sorry right now for all the devs in the industry who must be wondering why they're working so hard when you see AI copy pasta trash like this selling more games than Metroid Dread or Hollow Knight, because it does everything right. It's basically giving people what they want. Again, it is definitely multiple games thrown into a blender, but it's done very, very well. All fandoms are a desperate attempt by two of these groups to keep the other one out. What? Oh my God, that has nothing to do with this. This is about Warhammer. So, here's another one. Mischief. The level of lies and general slander being thrown at Palworld because Nintendo fanboys can't handle Pokemon having competent competition is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it should. It should actually push Nintendo and Game Freak to do better next time. Scarlet and Violet, I haven't played them. I've heard last one I bought was Shield. I think I played Shield a little bit and I got bored. But people said Scarlet and Violet were phoned in, not good. You know, I had no desire to buy it. But this thing, man, we bought this on day one. Community notes have been lacking on a lot of these posts. So here's one by Metal Grayman. Don't believe the lies that Palworld is using AI-generated art. Liars are claiming that Palworld used AI art based on a post made by their CEO. The problem is he was talking about BuzzFeed using AI, not Pocketpair staff. Isn't this from Palworld in Stick Z? This is a whole ass Leafian. Yeah, pretty much. Leafian isn't a squirrel, and they certainly can't use guns. Under Steam, here, that's a good point. Razgriz Reborn says, under Steam terms of service, wouldn't they have to disclose if they used AI? Exactly. If there's one group I trust to be truthful about the art they're trying to profit off of, it's AI bros. Before it could even be listed on Steam. Yeah. Nah, not the game itself doesn't use AI. The new Steam terms of service only applies if games. So that's what their whole thing is. Basically, look, I can boil this down very, very simply. Pokemon stans are angry because Palworld is a better Pokemon game than official Pokemon, and it's selling better than Pokemon. And they can't stand it. It makes them furious. Nintendo's the good guy. Disney's the good guy. How dare you? How dare you come in here, stupid little independent studio, and dethrone my corporate waifu? How dare you? The audacity of that bitch. So that's it. I thought this was pretty funny. We'll wrap it up after this. Hard drive article. Palworld execs brace for H-Bomber guy video. Yeah, where he's going to accuse him of plagiarism for 4 hours. 4 hours of plagiarism. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Go out, check out Clownfish Gaming, and check out Palworld. It's actually pretty damn good. It's a pretty damn good game. So it's not just a meme game. It's actually good. I'm giving it a ringing endorsement. I would give it, what I played of it, an 8 out of 10, and it's in early access. Give it a couple of years. Well, no, actually, strike that. In a couple of years, it's going to be littered with microtransactions, I'm sure. It's going to be, another Fortnite. But play it now. We'll talk later.